bat like any, no dust kick up from where it was hitting and shit. No, but I'm good. I'm good with my handgun. Like I'm good with my 9. I'm just not good with that. I'm not good with the AR. But like I said, I've literally only went to the range. I ran through those 30 bullets, and like you said, bullets are expensive. So I was like, you know what? We'll get back to this. I got my 9 to protect myself until I can get back to some training on this. But I do want to that AR was like right around, I want to say like 400 something dollars. How did I buy one? Or why did I buy one? Um, I mean, it's strictly for home protection for me because I don't carry it. Like even with my 9, I don't carry my 9. Like I don't do the whole concealed carry thing. At least now, right now, I don't. But yeah, I just figured, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got my 9, but, hey, if I run out of bullets, I might want to grab something else, you know what I'm saying? And with that AR, it's built where you can put different attachments on it. So, like, one of the first things I did was I got a laser for it and a little, like, holographic scope thing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, if I'm in here and the lights are out and shit like that, like I say, if somebody come in here, we're getting fucking busy, yo. Like, yo, fuck the whole shit where people talk about, like, you say you didn't know I got new emotes? Yeah, I set them up yesterday, Vote. I set them up. You said the COD loadout? No, but, yo, that's my whole thing, yo. It's like, so if somebody were to break in my house, right? They got that whole shit where people talk about, like, oh, you can't hurt them or shoot them unless you know that they are oh my god. Hold on, I won't be able to read that. You can't shoot them unless you know that they're gonna try to hurt you or kill you or something like that. But I'm like, yo, the simple fact that you're in my house, that's enough for me. Because you know what I'm saying? I believe firmly that a burglar, any burglar is for one, you're a piece of shit for being a burglar. You know what I'm saying? But two, any burglar knows that they are one mistake away from becoming a murderer. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got the heart to go into people's houses and shit like that, all it takes is that one time where you didn't realize that somebody's in there, and now all of a sudden, what are you gonna do? They see in your face, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, so for that alone, if somebody broke into my house, I'm shooting. I'm shooting, right? And at the end of the day, what's the old saying that people say? Like, dead men tell no tales and shit, right? So, if I tell the police that, hey, I yelled from upstairs and told them I got a gun, and if I come downstairs and you are not gone, I'm just going to take it as your threat. Like, I don't really have to say all this. I can just say I said it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if I come downstairs and you're still in here, then you're a threat. And I'm going to shoot. And that's enough said right there. So now if I come downstairs, I mean, theoretically, if I came downstairs and this person was still in here, then because there's a guy that used to live around the corner named Scooter. And Scooter was a smaller guy, small in stature, you know what I'm saying? Ended up having a daughter and was living in a townhouse around the corner with his mom. And so one day Scooter's at home and some dude breaks into his house. Scooter hears him downstairs and Scooter's there with his daughter, you know what I'm saying? So he comes downstairs with his gun and the dude heard him coming and beat him up. Took his gun. And luckily, I guess, Scooter didn't get killed or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, yo, like, anybody that's in your house that isn't supposed to be there is a threat. I don't need you to show me a gun or a knife for you to be a threat. The simple fact that you felt bold enough to enter these walls without permission, you know what I'm saying, lets me know that you are a danger to me. You know what I'm saying? So all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about like, oh, you gotta show this, you got like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Because criminals do have too many rights, man. Like I remember I was talking to somebody one day and they were surprised when I told them that, like, yo, if I broke into your backyard and you have a pool and shit, and you left a bunch of pool toys out and shit, and let's say I hop over that fence and I accidentally step on one of your fucking pool toys and fall and snap my leg and shit, like, I could sue you. Even though I'm a fucking piece of shit criminal that had no business being in your backyard and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what's to stop people? That being said, what's to stop me from just going around and just scouting out a backyard that just looks unsafe and shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna go get hurt on this motherfucker's property. And so, like, some of these laws, man, I just think that, yeah, this shit's just not cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you breaking into somebody else's shit, then, yo, all your civil rights, they're gone in that moment. You know what I'm saying? You have no rights. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that, yo. Shit's crazy, man. What up, Alma? Because there's too many fucking criminals out here, man. I don't know if y'all saw, but I was highly disappointed, man. Highly, super disappointed to see that the other day there were two boys. One of them was 16, the other one's 18, and they were riding around in North Carolina just shooting random people for no reason. Just pulling up and just shooting people. They shot at one crowd. It was a crowd of people, and they shot a girl. They shot a guy on a bicycle. They shot a guy that was driving, and I think he was in his 50s. That guy actually died. You know what I'm saying? So so I think they shot like a total, like, it was either 4 or 5 people. One of them died. Would succeed in court? I think so. I think I could succeed in court. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I really, took the time to make the case, because like I said, you here already kind of got it laid out. Like, I ain't even had a situation yet, but I kind of already got it kind of laid out. Well, I told him this and that. I told him. I think it will work. I think it will work because already, you know what I'm saying, the court's frowning upon the victim because he's a fucking criminal that broke into my shit. You know what I'm saying? So, if I kind of just put just enough of a twist for a jury to be like, you know what, I understand where he's coming from, then yeah, I think I would be good. But the Charlotte sniper joint, yeah. So like, and they said, so they caught the 16-year-old boy by himself. I guess they didn't catch him, together while they were doing it, because somehow they said they caught the 16-year-old boy, and then later they took the 18-year-old kid into custody, or not kid, boy, but then they were emphatic about the fact that they said the 16-year-old was they could tell he was determined to continue the crime spree and shooting people and shit. And shit like that really upsets me, man. It really does. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know any of the victims or anything like that, but it's troubling to think that we live in a world where people are content with being pieces of shit. Like, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just insane to me, yo. Like, because like I say, like, for me, y'all have heard me say it before. Like, it puts a smile on my face when people tell me, like, oh, yo, like, you always in a good mood. Like, y'all like dealing with you and shit like that. It makes me feel good. Like, when I wake up in the morning and I'm getting ready and I brush my teeth and I got to look at myself in the mirror, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to, like, know that, like, I'm a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, like, I don't see how people can look at themselves and, like, this guy, you know what I'm saying? These kids just riding around shooting people. Like, how the fuck can you look at yourself in the mirror and just how can you not look at yourself and just shake your fucking head? Like, damn. Like, yo, like, damn, I'm a real piece of shit. Like, I really just like to go around just hurting people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck wants to be that guy? But apparently a lot of people do. Because we live in a country with, and why is it that, like, America seems like to be the main, like, only place where you find, like, serial killers and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure that they exist in other places, but America's, like, the core. Like, this is where all the, like, how is it that serial killing is only, like, a mental thing here? Like, I've heard of a killer in another country, you know what I'm saying? But I've never heard of, like, a serial killer after serial killer after serial killer after serial killer, like here in the states. Like it's insane, and I don't know what it is about the states where like that. This is a U.S. thing, but it definitely seems like it to me. Yeah, now see, you're right, almost like, but I don't think it's about the guns. So like what I'm talking about, like yeah, the guns you can buy them easily in the states. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see more gun violence than you would in let's say Japan or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense. But what I'm talking about is a lot of these serial killers don't use guns. A lot of serial killers, you know what I'm saying, they like to get personal and use knives and torturous things and stuff like that. Like they had that guy, the BTK killer that they caught. You got Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, these are people that like love cutting into flesh and you know what I'm saying, and all that is, it's just like, why? Like, why? What is it about America that produces these people? I'm dead ass serious. Like I don't understand it because, like I say, I don't really hear about like Canada may have had a serial killer. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think Canada has anywhere close to what the U.S. produces, man. Yeah, no, you're right, Hallam, and I think it's yeah. So it's a blessing. Technology and the advancements in technology, I think, is putting a little bit more fear in some people. Some of the ones that have a little more sense and realize that they can be tracked and shit. Because nowadays with the whole DNA thing, and they don't even gotta have. If they get your little bit of DNA from the scene, they don't even need to see you again, but all it takes is for one of your relatives to do an ancestry.com or something. Next thing you know, it's like bing, 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 connect all the dots, and all of a sudden they got you. So I'm glad that yes, technology has got some of these people too scared to follow through with what they would want to do, but still don't understand why these people even exist that want to do this stuff. Like it's crazy. Like the DC sniper. You know what I'm saying? Like they executed was it John Malvo? I think that was the older guy's name. But then the younger guy, I remember they gave him the death penalty, but then they overturned it because they said like, he was young, he was under the influence of the older guy and stuff, right? But my whole thing with that is it's like when you have a dog, right? Little Novi, right? I love little Novi. I love her to death. If Novi had rabies, she would have to go down. And I fucking cry my heart my heart out. But you know what I'm saying? If something is so fucked up in the head, yo, Titan Moon, good look on the follow, yo. Yo, I love this shit, man. This is awesome. But if something is so fucked up in the head, you know what I'm saying, that like, yeah, now so like and the boy wasn't 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? He's in his upper teens. And so he got this old man putting bullshit in his head. Now he's a fucked up killer who's enjoying because he was the shooter. Let's be clear about that. He was the one doing like most of, if not all the shooting. You know what I'm saying? So old dude puts this shit in his head, gets him fucking hungry. Now all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the best fucking street sniper there is and shit. I'm just killing everybody. And at that point, he's wasted. He's done. I don't care who influenced him. I don't care anymore. I don't care. The crime itself that he was doing was so heinous. I don't care who influenced him. That boy should be on death row. Nothing should have changed. I'm sorry. And you're right. Okay, I will agree with you there. You know what I'm saying? Parenting is a huge thing. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what up, Viceroy? Parenting is huge, right? And so I was just having a conversation the other day with one of my friends, and we were talking about the whole Gypsy Rose case, right? That's the girl that just got out of prison not too long ago that had killed her mom or unalived her mom. But you remember that story? It was a situation where her mom had the Munchausen syndrome and had been basically abusing this girl like her whole life, making her think she was sick when she really wasn't, and da 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 da. And so when the girl found out that she had been being lied to all this time, you know what I'm saying, she ended up conspiring with somebody else and they killed her mom or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But a handful of the people that I've talked to, you know what I'm saying, they side with the girl Gypsy. And because they put it all on the mom for the parenting. You know what I'm saying? The mom was such a horrible parent. She did this and that to the girl. She need, you know what I'm saying, to look up. um, she did this and that to the girl, so nobody really felt bad for the mom being killed. You know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But I get that. I get that because parenting is major when you're forming your morals and your values. You know what I'm saying? You need to be guided. You know what I'm saying? No kid just soaks up all the right shit on their own. You know what I'm saying? So I get where it's very important. But at the same time, like speaking to Gypsy Rose, for instance, right? Her mom had Munchausen syndrome. So her mom actually was sick herself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not giving her an excuse or anything, but there's Munchausen syndrome is a real thing, and there's a lot of adults out here that do have Munchausen syndrome, and a lot of them usually use their kids as the ones that are, oh, she's sick, you know what I'm saying, or he's sick, and it doesn't always result in premeditated murder. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I say. It's like there's a lot of kids that have come up as a result of really bad parenting. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that not all of them hop in a trunk and take a sniper rifle and go kill people. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them develop a bloodlust. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. And I know that everybody's built different. You know what I'm saying? But some people will take. You think so, Alma? You think it's usually something that influenced? Because so I'll say this, man. Because I'm torn about that. I'm torn about what really if somebody really born this way. You know what I'm saying? Or because some people, are they really just inherently evil? So I'll give you an example. I'm watching one of these crime shows or whatever, one of these crime channels, because I've watched way too many of them. But there was a story about a girl out of Florida, and she was like 15 years old. And she was dating this boy that was a little bit older than her. He wasn't an adult, but he was just, a few years older than her. And this girl, by even her accounts, had a great family life. She had a great family life. She never really described anything that was weighing on her other than the fact that she just really, really, for some reason, wanted to get out of Florida. She was born and raised in Florida. She didn't like Florida. She didn't want to be there anymore. So she comes up with this plan with her boyfriend where they decide that they're going to run away together. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't enough for them to run away together. Just from them talking and shit, somehow they came up with the idea that before they leave town and disappear, they're going to unalive her family and his. And so they start with her family, and they do it off her whole family. And then they drive over to his house, and I think it was just his sister they thought was there. So they go in on the sister, and this is personal, like blades and stuff. They go after the sister, not realizing that her boyfriend was there. So the boyfriend comes out, and they get into a struggle and this and that. Next thing you know, the killers end up breaking free and hauling ass and running away. You know what I'm saying? And they end up eventually catching them. But I'm watching the show. I hear how ridiculous this story is. And then I watch the interview. They showed the video footage of the interview where they're interviewing this young girl. And she's very nonchalantly just saying like, yeah, and then, I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to be in Florida. So I told him, and, he'll do anything for me. So he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And not a care. They just put blades all through her family. She's not the slightest bit heartbroken. Not no guilt. Acted like it's just another day in the world. So that's why I say like it's really hard for me to wrap my head around it. And I think that's the fascination for most people. That's why all these shows exist, is because it's hard for all of us to really wrap our head around what brings a person to do some of these things. But like I said, some of it you can see like, okay, they had some beef. They had this and that. But like I said, in America, there just seems to be a lot of people that just will do it just because they want to be God. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Be some grimy, fucking toothless, dirty motherfucker in his pickup truck. I'm gonna pick up this prostitute, and I'm gonna be her god. And I just don't understand. Like I don't understand. Like I say, I don't understand how people can look at themselves and and be okay with that. Like I really don't. The Piers Morgan interview? No, not the one that I was talking about. This was a actual detective police station interview where they were interviewing the girl because yeah, she ain't gonna be on no Piers Morgan. She's in prison. Like, she's where she needs to be, man. Like for real. That's very well put, Nicole. I agree. I agree. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, I'm not saying that parenting isn't key. And, you know, I'm not going to discount that. Like, so when I talk about the DC sniper kid, I don't want to make it seem like I'm completely insensitive to the fact that, yes, he was brainwashed. And I'll agree with that. I can stand with everybody on that. More than likely, you know, he probably would have never done any of that had it not been for this older guy putting him on that path. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing is that, you know, when you get to a certain point where you there's a certain threshold that I can give you a pass on that too. You know what I'm saying? But after like the first killing, the second, the third, you know what I'm saying? And not only just him killing people, but like I think the one that really I took the most personal, man, because it really just hit home, man, was when it was like the older couple that was at like the Home Depot loading the shit into the car, and he shot the guy's wife and killed her. And I remember like, yo, that really hit me. I'm like, you motherfucker. Like you looked through that goddamn scope and you saw that this is a couple and they're elderly. They done been through it all. They done been through it all, man. And you just gonna fucking take his wife from him. Like that shit really upset me, man. Like honestly. And so that's why I've actually made the decision. I don't know. I think I said it to y'all, but I even told my homegirl. I was like, "Yo, I got to get off these fucking crime shows and shit. I can't even watch them. I mean, I can, but it's like I found one day, like I was laying in my bed, and I wasn't even really paying attention to the TV. I was actually really just thumbing around on my phone, but I could hear the stories in the background, and all of a sudden, it hit me. I was like, you know what, man? I gotta turn to something like, even if it's dumb, I need to turn to something with some laughter, something upbeat and shit. Because right now, I'm just feeling like the world is grim as fuck, and there's just a lot of mean people out here. Shit, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. So I really have been trying to make it a point to like, kind of like just concentrate on more positive energy and shit. I mean, things can be interesting. Yeah, those serial killer shows and all that stuff is interesting, but at the same time, man, it's just like, do I really need to know what the fuck Jeffrey Dahmer did with all these damn bodies? It's just like, now I can't unknow it. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just knowledge in my head and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. Well, see, but me, when I get high, I don't even know if I get high anymore. Like, when y'all see me smoke and shit, like, you'll never see me smoke, like, and be like, oh, shit, dude. Yo, chicken fry, good look on the follow, yo. You never gonna see me be like, oh, dude, yo, I'm fucking stoned. You know what I'm saying? Like, me, I just smoke out of kind of habit and shit. Yeah, and that, once again, the cob, well put. I like I said, I remember watching something, and they were really talking about like just the hard life that somebody had coming up, and it sounded really hard. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't denying it, I wasn't denying it either. You know what I'm saying? But that's when the guy had made the point, and it held with me ever since then. It was years ago that like there's other people that have been through way worse and don't do anything close to what this person did. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's like, but then again though, I am a firm believer that, you know, there is no baseline for everything. You know what I'm saying? Because we all encounter forces that are greater than, others that some other people encounter. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, like, to the DC sniper kid, for instance, I keep going back to him, right? So he may have been neglected, may have experienced some things that other kids did that didn't go on and shoot people and stuff, but other kids may not have experienced a John Malvo. You know what I'm saying? And I can acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? So I can say, like, yeah, just because you've been abused doesn't necessarily mean that you got to da da da. But that John Malvo guy may have been that aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He may have just had that something that, okay, now this kid's in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I can acknowledge that, you know, there's definitely some influence in there. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, it's just, thank you, Chicken Fry. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm well seasoned. Do I think a killer could change and turn over a new leaf? It depends on what type of killer. Because if we're talking about some sort of impulsive killer, that's somebody that is like if it's somebody that's doing it for some sort of sexual rise, or if it's somebody that's doing it just for some sort of control issue, no, I don't think they can ever change. I don't think they ever can. The only killers that I think can really change are people that killed for street business. You know what I'm saying? Or like they had beef with this particular person and they let their anger get to such a high level that it got away from them. Now they've learned and they'll never let, even if they beef with somebody else, now they've learned. You know what I'm saying? But like when we're talking about like killers, like, you know, people that hunt people for whatever reason, for whatever narcissistic reason, no, I don't believe they can ever change. They may be able to try to do better holding back, you know what I'm saying? But an urge is an urge is an urge. It really is. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people, like, you know, ask an alcoholic, ask a recovering alcoholic. There's you know, urge will be there. It's just that they know how to, you know, get through that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a crack addict, you know, anybody that's addicted to something, you know, that urge is going to be there. And I don't care if you're not even, you don't gotta unalive somebody every week in order for me to think you're addicted to it. Because the simple fact that if you would let a feeling in you bring you to the level where like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, yeah, you got something going on, and that's not something that any prison time can just do away with. You say you're highly addicted to coffee. Neither you think. Which is crazy because for the longest time I didn't like coffee when I was younger, but now I kind of like it, but not hot coffee. I'm still an iced coffee person or shit. You know what I'm saying? Or a macchiato or something. But yeah, I know a lot of people that are like really coffee is like is super expensive, bro. Like I think that's part of the reason why I'm not addicted to it. It's just so expensive. Like every once in a while I'll treat myself to a Starbucks something. But every time I do, I'm like, look, it's the last one I'll do that for a while. It just goes so damn quick.